are, I think, the busiest human I've ever met. I need to get a couple quick questions out of the way. First of all, do you have a nickname?
A nickname. When I was competing, it was the Terminator.
Okay.
I've got Stodgy, Stoics. I've got a bunch of different, and sometimes it's just E. My wife calls me when I'm not in trouble but it's serious. She's Stoico. That's what she calls me, Stoico.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm calling you E-money because everything you do is money, except for something you did recently where I actually think you're batshit crazy. And I was trying to find a nickname out of this. We have a photo of you doing some exercise. Come
Oh, gee.
on. Tell me
This looks
this
like
was just
Rocky
for the
Four when he's
gram.
training
Yeah.
for the fight against Ivan Drago. You know, is
I
this what you were doing
know.
here, Elvis?
This is old school. So I was working out in the basement and I was just training. I was like, it was getting really warm, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna do some cold weather training outside because it was nice and crisp. And I took the heavy log. That's a kung fu log for hands, and getting ready for because I went down to Sebring to do some testing in the car, and then I'm racing in Road Atlanta in March, and I did some testing. My wife was like, where is my husband? And she goes outside and she did a little like live Instagram. She's like, I found him. What the hell are you doing? And I'm like, I'm working out outside. And then she posted, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
Stoico. That's what she should have said in that moment
Yeah.
because you were crazy on that. But when obviously we talk about the Olympics and you are a G, as kids might say, in the Olympics and everything that you do in life. But when you first land a quadruple double combo or a quadruple triple combo, how in the HE double hockey sticks do you even workshop that for the first time?
Well, first you start out doing single jumps and then double jumps and then triple jumps, and then
No.
you just keep progressing. And there's dry land training you do to preparatory stuff to get there. But it's not like you just sort of go out and you start trying quads. You have to build yourself up to it. Now the kids are like doing every quad there is, and Ilya Malinin from the US, who's just an absolute phenom doing quad axles, which I was doing on the harnesses when I was a kid, and just the thought of trying to land one was just so far away for us at the time. But with training and with new equipment and all sorts of new sciences and understandings of the body, and of course in hockey too, it just expands the body, understanding the body and how we adapt, how we learn, how we train, how we eat, how we sleep. All these things matter, and just those little things, just at the highest level, just a little margin can make a huge difference.
Well, if anybody's seen you, post Olympics doing stars on ice or just posting amazing content on social media or helping people train, you're doing crazy flips and everything like that. But we saw backflip for the first time in the Olympics. Your reaction when you see that?
Well, honestly, it was funny because there was someone writing an article about Saria Bonley back in 1998, where it was her final competition, and she was the one that could do a backflip. And the biggest thing back then, I mean, it was banned because it was
Yep.
not only dangerous, but you had to land it on one foot. But she could do that. A lot of people don't know she was like a world junior tumbling champion.
Yes.
So she phenomenal, and I toured with her for years. And I remember my coach Ushi Kessler at the time, the choreographer. We were good friends with her and her mom, and we were on practice with her when she was getting ready for her competition. We had finished competing; the men finished competing, so we went and was at the boards with her while she was on practice. And we wanted to support Saria, and she was going through a lot, and she did, the short program. She didn't get the mark she deserved and all this other stuff. So we were like, we're gonna go support Saria. She was like, I think I want to do the backflip. And her mom, myself, and Ushi Katsu were like, just do it. Just, this is your final swan song. Just do it. What are they gonna do? Like, and you can do it on one foot because no one else can do that. So technically it's kind of illegal, but she was able to land it on one foot. And a lot of people thought she was banned from competition after that. She wasn't. It was just she was the first one to do it on one foot in competition, and now they've allowed it in competition, and now the first one with Elia doing it, and a lot of the guys are doing it on a regular basis.
The Olympics are so great because I'd like to watch more figure skating, but I got to say, Ellis, being honest, I only watch it around Olympic time and, some of the highlights as they come through. But I saw Steven Gogolev on Saturday in the team dance in his short program, and he was incredible, man. He got the crowd going. And tonight's the men's singles short program. What have you seen from Steven, and what impresses you about him?
Well, Stevens had a pretty, he was one of those phenoms at a very, very young age. He was doing triple axles and quads, and he was a little kid, very wiry but small. And then all of a sudden, he grew, and the body changed. His center of gravity changed. Everything changed. He had trouble jumping. He was getting injury after injury after injury. He's gone through an incredible process to get here. And now that it's happening, I'm really happy for him because he's skating well. He can get out there and do his jumps and do the technical part. And once that's settled, he can enjoy his skating and perform. And that's what's so amazing. And I think he's matured, and a lot of skaters don't make it through what he went through. That growth spurt can change so many things. Where in hockey, it's a good thing. Yeah, your balance changes, but the bigger you get, the stronger you get. It's actually an advantage for you. In figure skating, it can be a disadvantage. It happened to me. I didn't. I'm still not that tall, but I mean, I grew 3 inches in one summer or 4 inches in one summer, and I lost everything. Everything I trained since I was a kid, I lost. I had to relearn it all. So for him now, doing what he's doing and skating so well at his first Olympics, I'm cheering him on, and it's phenomenal for Canada. And he's got another Olympics in him, I think, if he can keep the injuries at bay. But he's got quads, and he was a phenomenal skater at a young age, and now he's coming into his own.
How do you handle the nerves of the Olympics? It's like, hey, this is the moment I've worked my whole life for, and one little mistake, or a judge has a bad day, and maybe I'm not going to be able to live out my dream, or I'll miss out on that medal chance. How do you handle nerves when it comes to an Olympic Games?
Well, basically, like any athlete, but there's the way you place your mind. There's the inner monologue, and I use that a lot when I'm coaching kids, no matter if it's racing cars or hockey or skating or what have you, is the inner monologue. And the demons always come out at the pressure times, the doubts and all these things. And you can only control in your environment. So you break down the things that you can't control, you put them aside and go, I can't control the judges. I can't control the full outcome of the event. All I control is myself in the moment. I can control my thoughts, thus controlling my body. So controlling my breathing, controlling all of that. And I remember even in 98 when I had my injury, I couldn't control certain aspects, but I was able to control the way I was feeling. So I would go and talk to my coach if something was off, or if I get a spike in adrenaline. It's also control of energy output. So we used to have a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being completely sleeping and 10 being jacked and too high. So I have different levels of energy that I use for different things. For skating, when I was competing, I needed to be about a 7. If I was a 9, I was too high. If below that, it was too low. So I could have crisp jumping and everything there, but in a controlled setting, because I didn't want to overfire. So it's all of these things coming together, but the most important thing is the self-talk and blocking out the things that you cannot control. And when you cross the line, you get on the ice, you have to hold things together. You have to have that strength to stand up. And you actually literally feel the pressure down on your shoulders. And you have to stand up and get your body in that position. Because our body wants to go in fight or flight. And in martial arts, we call it turtling. Your body wants to turtle, which our body goes to the fetal position because it's there the longest out of any position we are in our lives. We're there for 9 months. So our body goes there. For skating, not a good position to be in. So you want to stand up against it. So when I work with kids, I tell them to the self-talk and stand up and get your body in that position, and you got to stay strong. And that's where the mental part comes in. And a lot of times it's the warrior, and you got to fight through it because it's not an easy thing.
I wish we could have you on here for an hour. We have to have you on again to talk about your amazing racing career that's also happening. But we'll try to rapid fire as many questions as we can in the next 5 minutes. Just you talk about the mentality and things you can and cannot control. When it comes to judging, how do you feel that has changed maybe since you were there? Because I know like there's a lot of focus on, the storytelling and the technique. Do you feel that there's been a big change on how the sport's been judged?
It's basically the same. I mean, the format and the way they changed it from back in 2004 and 2005 when we had the 6-0 system. I mean, the point system, there's a lot of positives to it. There's negatives to it. There's always going to be that just, the discrepancy between the two. And skating's always going to have the artistry versus technical aspect. You're going to have people that love the technical aspect, the athletics of it, the athleticism, and then you're gonna have people that are like, well, I want more artistry. He wasn't artistic, and there's people that they throw that around. They'll just be like, well, he's not artistic enough, or she's not artistic enough, and but it's so fine tuned now. There's so many details involved, and it gets very confusing for people. Even for me, I don't watch it a whole lot. I watch the skaters now and then. As soon as I hear something new or a new skater, I'll go and watch. But the marking system, I mean, you need like, it's like hieroglyphics. You need like a course in all of this, and it's pretty crazy the change. But overall, the judging itself is pretty much the same how it was back then. It's just way more detailed. They extract every little detail between both sides, technical and artistic.
So you've gone from the ice to behind the wheel. From the outside, it's like, well, that couldn't be two more contrasting sports. What are the parallels from figure skating to car racing?
I had a friend of mine who skates, adult skater, a coach. She used to be an OPP officer, and I took her out for some skid pad work in my car. I have a training car, and she was explaining, like I was explaining to her. She asked me, what, like, because of skating, what's the connection? So I'm in the car, drifting the car, doing control work and all this stuff, and I told her about how, with the grip level of, the actual tire, and then on the skates, the same thing. There's a grip level that you have, and you can feel. And when you're locked in, when you're a newbie on the ice, you want to be locked in and you want to feel secure. And then when you get really good, you can feel the blades start to dance underneath you. That's the translation from a good driver to someone that's really good, where you beginner, where you want to be locked in, and then you get really good, and then the car dances underneath you. Then you have angle, you have inertia, you have G-force, you have load. We have that in skating, and we have it in racing and in car control. So when I was explaining it to her, though, that's probably the most basic way I can explain it. And the internal gyro of feel that I have from skating, I go into a car and now I have that gyro. It's very, very sensitive, and I picked it up very quickly because of that.
Next time when we have some more time with you, we're only going to talk racing, because I was telling Dan before, one of the coolest experiences of my life is when you took me around the track and I didn't vomit. I was so proud of myself. So thank you for that.
Good job, Linz.
But two quick questions about figure skating. I am rocking an original Ricky Martin shirt from 1999, his tour. We're seeing a couple of dancers using his tunes, as well as Eiffel 65, Spice Girls. How important is the music selection when you are creating that moment on the ice?
Well, it's getting more and more complicated because of the issue with music rights. So that's you could find a perfect piece, and then all of a sudden you either have to pay for it, or you can't use it, or it has to be cleared. There's so many different aspects. But as a skater, music is what makes it. It's the inkling. Like when my wife and I are searching for something for the show, I'll be listening movie soundtracks. I check on YouTube. I listen to the radio, and something that really sparks. And we'll pick like 10 or 15 selections, go onto the ice, and then just skate it out. And sometimes you think it's going to be awesome, and you get on the ice and you're like, oh, this didn't work. And vice versa. You're like, okay, this might not be too bad. I like the song. You get on the ice and it works beautifully. It is the core to why you skate. I love the connection with athleticism, the artistry, and you put it to music, and it sets a mood, and that mood and that emotion is what creates that excitement and connects us to the audience.
Connecting with the audience is something you've also done in the new Netflix series. I want to Finding Her Edge. And the reason I stumbled is because I laughed at one of the headlines. It's like, the original bad boy of figure skating is in this. That is you. Over 12 million people have consumed part of the first season. You play Kevin Seymour. Just being a part of that show, because that's also a different part of your creative aspect.
Yeah, people ask, where'd this come from? I started when I was a kid. I was grade 5, 10, 11 years old, and in school, and it's been something I've been doing on and off, most of my life, and I've always loved that part of the art form of acting. I love the acting, and it is in skating as well, but you know, you have to learn the speech and the you know, all of that stuff, the dialogue and memorization and character development. And I absolutely love it. And you know, we just got greenlit for the second season, and I'm super excited because there's going to be more of Kevin Seymour in the show, which is great. As I don't want to let spoilers, people haven't seen it yet, but I'm a major, kind of a bit of a nemesis to the main character. So it's great. The cast was amazing. It's just enough so people can go, who is this guy and what is he doing? And it's been amazing. It's such a great project to be part of. Of course, it's shot here in Canada, which is amazing, and I'm very excited to be shooting it later this year for second season.
Oh, I'm so excited for you. Congratulations on
Yes.
that. No, I loved it because anyone that's ever met you are like the nicest human on earth. So people need to go watch it just to see how amazing your acting skills are. But yeah, also in Murdoch
Thank you.
Mysteries, Hudson and Rex, like you have a long list of acting. I know it's not your first rodeo, but thank you for your time. I know you're very busy. So E-Money, we appreciate you, but we got to have you back on to talk racing in the future. Okay.
For sure. Thanks so much, guys.